अखंड मंडलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। स्थावरं जंगम व्याप्तं यत् किंचित् सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। चिन्मयं व्याप्ति यत् सर्वं त्रैलोक्यं सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। सर्वश्रुतिश्रिरोरत्न विराजित पदाम्बुजः वेदांत अम्बुज सूर्यो यः तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। चैतन्य शाश्वतः शान्तः व्योमतीतो निरञ्जनः बिन्दुनाद कलातीतः तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। तमैव माता च पिता तमैव तमैव बन्धु च सखा तमैव तमैव विद्या द्रविणं तमैव तमैव सर्वं मम देव देवो। Hare Krishna. So, I'm fortunate to be able to speak here. It's typically once in a year that I'm able to speak here, and it's really a great privilege to be able to speak here where Prabhupada always thought that was his headquarters for the Western world. And he spent quite a bit of his time, and his presence can be felt here. Anytime you come here in this temple, you can feel Srila Prabhupada's presence. He's seated right here. And an elderly gentleman at the age of 70 came to the West to carry on the mission of his guru to speak in English to the English-speaking world. And we all are fortunate whether we come from West or come from the East. At this time, there is so much propagation of his teachings, especially in East, in India, in Russia, in many other countries. And all because this gentleman, at the age of 70, when many of us don't even think of getting up early in the morning, he took the arduous journey to come to the West, to come to America, and almost killed himself in the process by having heart attacks, but still maintained to come here, no penny in his pocket, and with all the support that he can gather only from focusing himself on Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was able to build this mission. And we all are fortunate here, no matter where we are born or where we have been brought up, but ISKCON offers a wonderful opportunity for us to understand what our Sanatan Dharma is. Many of us think we are Hindus, but Srila Prabhupada repeatedly said, and so we know, Hindu is a word that was given by the Muslims when they conquered India, came from Turkey and many other countries. And because they were crossing the river Sindhu, they called us Hindus. But our real dharma, our real religion is Sanatan Dharma. And So that's what he spread. And it's an opportunity for us to understand as to what it is that we believe in, what it is our faith, why we are called Hindus or Sanatan Dharmis for that matter. Because otherwise, if we do not know who we are, our foundations are not strong enough, then anything that comes our way will shake us up. And if we are shaken, our children will be shaken. And if we will be shaken, then our lives will be as miserable as we see around here in the West. So ISKCON offers the most focused and most scriptural-based system for us all to follow. And we should be taking any opportunity that we can get to associate, come here and get the darshan, attend the artis, listen to the classes, and make benefit from them as much as we can. I'm myself very fortunate. I grew up in a Sanatan Dharmic family, a very rigorous family back in India. But as happens in India, hardly does anybody ever teaches anything about the Dharma. You're supposed to imbibe it from just going through the rituals and other traditions. But as such, no one actually teaches you what it is we believe in, what it is the scripture says. So, and I have become a Christian at this, today's Easter. I remember my days as a Christian. I studied Bible under a Christian missionary from American missionary who was actually sent by a church here right in LA area. And he taught me Bible. I studied Bible with him while I was a doctor, working, practicing. And later on, it was Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita that one time I happened to study that. And a man really forced me to study Gita while I was a Christian. And he told me, you should not become anything until you have studied Gita. So I studied Srila Prabhupada's Gita at a very young age, maybe 28, 29. And that really changed my mind, and I really started having association with his books and with devotees. We came here in about 30 years ago. And that's really, I would like to tell you that if you cannot take anything from here, just take this, that you must study Bhagavad Gita. Srila Prabhupada has very nicely explained what the messages are, what our dharma is, and you don't have to do anything, just a simple study of his books will transform your life. And not that we need to leave anything. That's not our shastras say. Our shastras are actually have different varnas, different ashrams. But in each varna or each ashram, no matter whom we are, what we do, whatever is our occupational position is, whether we are working class person, we are teachers, or we are just administrators, whatever we our ashram or varna be. But if we all remember that we are the eternal soul, that's part and parcel of Krishna, we are his servants, the very infinite part of is that very finite part of that infinite, our lives will be different. So with this little bit of introduction, I will come to today's class, what I wanted to share with you. In our Sanatan Dharma, the highest knowledge we get is from the Vedas. We have 4 Vedas. And the summary of the Vedas is presented in Bhagavad Gita for the person who does not have time in Kali Yuga. That summary is being given in Bhagavad Gita of all that is contained in the 4 Vedas. So there, the description of God is there. How about God is, how he is, and so forth. But in that description, you find that the God is presented as being infinite, all-knowing, all-powerful, almighty, the brighter than the brightest, and the lighter than the lightest. All his attributes are being presented. But for a person in Kali Yuga, where the senses are so poor that to comprehend that God, that Param Braham, as is called in Vedas, is not at all possible. I think there will be hardly a person who can understand that concept. So what has happened in our system is then there are many other narrations of Bhagwan, of Param Brahma. And those are presented in many other scriptures. And we have our histories, Itihas, Ramayana and Mahabharata. And then we have Puranas. Those are ancient histories of when and how God descended in this material world to interact. And those leelas, as they are called, each time God descends in this material world, that is called an avatar. An avatar is a God, Param Brahma himself, when he descends in this material world. And many times there is an avatar of the Lord, then it is done in such a way, it is such a glorious way that this is being presented, that just if you just read about a particular avatar, a particular incarnation of the Lord, your senses will be totally taken up. Your mind will be totally absorbed in thinking about that Leela, that avatar of the Lord. So we have our 18 Puranas, the Mahapurans, then 18 sub-Purans, and in all of them, the incarnations of the Lord are being described. Srimad Bhagavatam presents all the incarnations of Bhagwan Krishna. So I am personally very attached to the one incarnation of the Lord, this is Narasiṁha. Narasiṁha has quite a bit of meaning to us. We were working I was actually working for the government in very difficult situations in Africa. And life is so uncertain there that you have to rely on Narasiṁha for your own protection of your family and so forth. So since then, we have such a special place for Lord Narasiṁha. So I wanted to share a little bit about that avatar, the incarnation of the Lord that was half lion and half moon. So I will be reading a little bit of some 5-6 verses from the scriptures that narrates that incident. I realized that the actual festival will be on May 9th, but you should take it as a trailer, if you will, of the actual festival. So let me begin. I will be reading, basically it's a narration of the pastime of the Lord, Narasiṁha. Narayan namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim chaiva tate jamudiriyet. Let us recite the glorious history contained in Puranas. After paying obeisances to Sri Krishna, Arjuna, his best friend and best among human beings, and Mother Saraswati, who herself manifests their glories. So this narration actually happens in Srimad Bhagavatam 7th canto, but also in Narasiṁha Puran. Narasiṁha Puran exclusively talks about this avatar of the Lord, Bhagvan Narasimha. And some of you will know the story. It was a Rakshas, a man who was very powerful, and because his own brother was killed by Bhagwan Vishnu, he wanted to take revenge with Bhagwan Vishnu. So he realized that Bhagwan Vishnu is very powerful. There is no way he can easily defeat him. What to think about killing him? So what he came up with an idea that it is all well known that if you do some tapasya, if you do some austerities, you can get power. That's why we do some austerities here in ISKCON, that on Ekadashi day we fast from grains and beans. So that's kind of a tapasya. If you get up early in the morning at 4 o'clock and then take bath and do your puja, that's a tapasya. All the tapasyas give us power. And this demon also knew that fact. So what he thought was, if I do tapasya, I will gain power, and through the power, I can defeat Vishnu, who is slayer of my brother. So then he thought to whom I should be directing my tapasya. There is Bhagwan Shiva, there is Vishnu that he wanted to kill, and there is also Lord Brahma. So Shiva, he thought maybe will not be able to give him that power to kill Vishnu because he may be his friend. So he thought, what about Lord Brahma? Lord Brahma, after all, is the super architect, the chief architect in chief of this creation. So he will be able to give me that power. So he selected him, Lord Brahma, and he meditated upon him, and then he, for many years, he carried out very severe austerities. With his austerities were so severe that his whole body has almost killed himself. His body has become a place for the anthills. So that after doing that tapasya, Lord Brahma appeared to him and he asked what it is that you want. Now, he knew that Brahma will not be able to give him a boon to kill Vishnu. That he knew it will not be possible. So that man was so clever, he came about an idea that let me ask in an indirect way. Let me ask not for killing Vishnu, but let me ask for my own protection. And so he asked many things, many different things from Lord Brahma. He said that maybe I should not be killed during the day or night. I should not be killed in a house or outside the house. I should not be killed by any kind of a weapon, and he listed many weapons. I should not be killed of many different kinds of beings, and he listed all the different categories of the beings that exist in earth and the heavens. So, and the day and night I should not be killed. So Brahmaji gave him those boons. All of those boons, Brahmaji said, sure, go ahead, I can give you those. So with that, he became very powerful. Nobody can touch him. He became totally very powerful, and he all started doing was tormenting the worlds. So we will read another verse of what he did. So this is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Vishnu dojkriya mulo yagyo dharma maya puman dev rishi pitru bhutanam dharmasya cha parayanam yatra tyatra dijagavo veda varna ashram kriyaha tam janpadam yat sandipayat vraschat tasmin kute ahite nasti kratat mule vanaspatau vitupayu shishyanti Vishnu prana divokasaha. The root of Vishnu is the performance of Vedic rituals by twice-born individuals, because yajna and dharma are the foundations of Vedic rituals. Vishnu is the shelter of devatas, rishis, forefathers, living beings, and dharma. So go wherever there are twice-born people, cows, Ved, and the performance of Vedic rituals. Set fire to that town and cut them off. Just as on cutting the root of a tree, all of its expansions such as branches and leaves dry up dead, the same way on killing the most deceitful Vishnu, all devatas whose very life is Vishnu will be annihilated as well. So this demon, by the way, the word Rakshas in Sanskrit does not mean, contrary to popular belief, someone who has many horns on his head or having a weird bodily shape. No. Rakshas simply means somebody comes from the word Raksha, is somebody by whose very presence will make you run away from that person. So this Rakshas thought that the Vedic rituals and dharma, they are the foundations of Sanatan Dharma. We have to do some yajna, like we chant Hare Krishna, that's a yajna. And the following of a Vedic principles of life, that is the foundation of Vishnu. So if I kill all those people who are following Sanatan Dharma, then Vishnu will become very weak. That's the way this reads. So this is his thinking, that Vishnu is the effect And all of these, the Sanatan Dharma, all these rituals, the Vedic principles of life, they are the cause. So this is where he got wrong. In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan Krishna says, Avajananti mamu mudha manushim tanu mashritam param bhavam ajananto mam sarva bhut maheshwaram. So Bhagwan Krishna presents as it is, that the cause of all of this creation is he or Vishnu, and everything else is the expansion. So even if you kill all the leaves of a tree, the tree will still be there. The same way, even if you kill all the expansions of Vishnu, Bhagavan Vishnu will not be affected. Krishna will not be affected by that. But that was his thinking. That was his demonic thinking. And with that, he told all of his friends and all of his servants to go about and kill all those people who were following the Dharma, all of those people who were doing the Yajna, and all of those people who were reading the Vedas. So this is what he did, and the whole turmoil he created in the whole universe by his action. So it's a long story. Eventually, what happened was, after he kept killing, so much so that the devatas, they become so worried that they approached Lord Vishnu in Kshirosagar. And they went there and they prayed to him that this demon is causing so much disturbance in the whole creation. Even our own existence, it's difficult to maintain. So can you do something? And they took with him Bhagwan Shiv. Bhagwan Shiv went there, he headed them, and he chanted 100 names of Bhagwan Vishnu. And by hearing those names of Bhagwan Vishnu became very pleased. And he then inquired why they had come, as though he didn't know. And so they told about this Hiranyakashipu, who is causing all this turmoil in the world. So Bhagwan Vishnu says, do not worry, I will send a boy as his son, and once he tries to kill his son, then I will descend. I will take avatar. So this is precisely happened. He got a son who is Prahalad. Prahalad was a devotee. Narad Muni came to him one time and told him, leave everything aside, but chant Hare Krishna, be a devotee of the Lord. And he followed that, and he became a preacher. At a very tender age, he was preaching to his schoolmates about Krishna's glories. So the same Vishnu, his father wanted to kill, and the same Vishnu, this little boy was preaching to others. So that his father came to realize that his son is actually the biggest enemy, because he's converting people to Vishnu, who is his enemy. So he wanted to kill him. Many attempts were made on his life. And finally, there was a day that came, and that day will be May 9th here in Los Angeles area, that he called his son to his palace. And he asked him, why do you do all this? Why are you propagating the name of Vishnu? And he said, because Vishnu is the dearmost friend for everyone. Vishnu is the Lord. Vishnu is the creator. And he started chanting the glories of Vishnu in front of his very dear enemy. So the father obviously became very angry, and he asked him, in this pillar, is Vishnu? He said, yes. So he said, okay, if Vishnu is present in this pillar, let me kill Vishnu right now. And he took his sword and struck this pillar. So then there is a very good verse in Srimad Bhagavatam that describes that. Satyam vidatum nij bhratya bhashitam vyapitum cha bhuteshu akhileshu cha atmanaha adarshiyat adi adbhut rupam udbhavan stambhe sabhayam ne mrigam ne manusham. To prove that the statements of his servant Prahalad are correct, and that he is present in all beings and things, a very strange form emerged from a pillar of the royal court. Strange was that form because it was not fully that of an animal or of a human being. So what Srimad Bhagavatam says is that Sri Krishna or Vishnu wanted to prove that the statements made by his devotee were true. And so he could have come from somewhere else. He may have appeared right in the front of him without coming from the pillar. But because his son, his devotee said that Krishna is there in the pillar, he appeared right in the pillar itself. So to prove that the statement of his servant Prahalad are correct. So this is how Krishna interacts with us. When we become his devotee, once we are surrendered our lives to him, uh, even the things that we think of, even sometimes the things that we speak of, they come to pass. So all that we need is, if we have that purity, then with that purity, things will happen as they should. So this is what happened to that pillar. From the pillar, as this father struck, Vishnu appeared, and Vishnu was in that form. Was neither a man or an animal. That was his one of the boons. He had no weapon in his hands. Vishnu typically appears with a weapon in his incarnations. In this one, there was no weapon. Only thing he has was his nails. And the many beautiful verses in Srimad Bhagavatam and in Narasiṁha Puran that describes that nail. Just focus on that nail of Narasinghadev. He had only nails, no weapon of any kind. The time he appeared was dawn, neither day or night. That was his another boon. And he appeared at the steps of palace, and the steps of any place, even in this temple, they are not considered inside the palace. You cannot consider them outside the palace. So all of the different boons that Brahmaji has given were not broken. While from his perspective, from the perspective of a demon, he has made sure that everything will be protecting him. There will be no avenue for him to be killed. There was no way that his boons can be broken. He had taken care of everything. In fact, he even asked that I should not be killed by anything which is dry or which is wet. And there is nothing that exists in creation that is not one of the two. In fact, we can see the air contains humidity, water. But he had asked that let me be not killed by anything which is dry or which is wet. So all of the boons that Brahmaji gave were not broken in this avatar of the Lord. And yet Bhagwan Vishnu was able to kill this demon. So that's how this demon came to naught, and he was killed. Now once he was killed, then Prahalad Maharaj offered many, many beautiful prayers to this Bhagwan Krishna. And one of them I really like is Om Namo Bhagavate Tubhyam Purushaya Mahatmane Hariye Adbhut Singhaya Brahmane Paramatmane. Salutations to you, O Supreme Lord. You are seated in everyone's heart, most merciful, vanquisher of all sorrows, the wonderful lion, and you yourself are Param Braham Paramatma. So with many of the prayers Prahalad Maharaj offered to Narasinghadev when he has appeared. Now in return, Bhagwan Narasimha offered his blessings to Prahalad Maharaj, and then one of the blessings that I will cite there, I actually especially like them very much. Yatra yatra che mad bhaktaha prashantaha samdarshinaha sadavaha samudacharaha te puyante apiki kataha. Wherever there are my devotees who are peaceful, who regard all things impartially, righteous, and with proper conduct and behavior, those places, even if full of filth, become purified. So Bhagwan Narasimha was telling Prahalad that even though he was living with these demons, but because he was a devotee who was peaceful, who regarded all things impartially, he was righteous, with proper conduct and behavior, even though that was a filthy place, that there was no dharma in that in that society. But even in that, because there was a devotee, Prahalad, who was righteous, who was a devotee, that big place becomes purified. So that's definitely a blessing that Bhagwan is giving to Prahalad. And then in the end, the, there was this beautiful verse from Bhagavatam is Om Namo Bhagavate Narishingaya. So this is where I would like to end, and I will actually ask you that when the Narasiṁha Chaturdashi comes on 9th of May, then there are many ways you can take protection from Narasingha Maharaj. The best and the most arduous one will be that if you can fast until the end of the day, until maybe about 6:15 these days, and then you do some puja, and if you can come to the temple, fine. But if you're not, then at least you can put his picture and offer him some arti, offer your obeisances to him, and then this particular mantra that comes in Srimad Bhagavatam is very powerful. So I will request you all to repeat with me. This 8 times we will repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Narishingaya. 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 So just by recitation of this little mantra, you will get the protection of Bhagwan Narasimha. We actually take it even further every time we start the day, and when I'm about to drive, we recite this mantra to get the blessings, protection of Narasimha when we are hitting the road. So anything can happen in this material world. We don't know whether we will be alive on that next moment. We have seen people just dying on the fly. I've seen in Africa, I've seen in my neighborhood in Irvine. So not to scare us, but it's always a good opportunity for us to associate with Narasimha, to get his protection. And this mantra is very simple. One can recite 8 times and you will get his blessings. Now in the end, what is the point of this all? Why do we hear about these avatars, the incarnations of the Lord? And this is because if we do that, then the Shastras, Narasingha Puran declares, Samasti Purna Phaladam Kalau Vishnu Prakirtinam. In the Kali Yuga, Shri Vishnu's Nam Kirtan gives fruits of all punyas. So all of our good deeds can be accomplished if we do the Nam Kirtan, Sankirtan, as we do here in the mandir. And especially if you do for focusing on Narasimha, you will get all his protection and all his blessing. Thank you very much. I'll be happy to answer any questions if you have before the feast. Yeah. Sure. No, it is not. Srila Prabhupada said he is one of the avatars of the Lord. Yes. Narsimha, yes. But yes, right behind you. Sure. Anything else? Yes. So what Prabhuji is pointing out that not all avatars are equally created. Just use that phrase. There are gradations of them. So Nrsimhadev is the most topmost incarnation. And then there are others who are also incarnations, but not at the same level as Nrsimhadev. That's we should keep in mind. Yes. Sorry, I couldn't really get your question. What was it? No, not at all. Not at all. To, to these, like Nrsimhadev, it's not an offense at all. In fact, just before the lecture begins, especially in ISKCON, Prabhupada established the worship of Nrsimhadev. And in Mayapur, where our headquarters are, there is a very, very beautiful temple dedicated to Nrsimhadev Bhagwan. So not at all an offense, at all, not at all. No, never take it as an offense if you pay obeisance to Nrsimhadev, not at all. In fact, devotees in the beginning, now ISKCON is very well settled, but I remember these 32 years ago in Boston. At that time, it was even dangerous. Many times we went out to distribute even prasad, and there were people who will be fighting with us. So you want to convert us with your food? And they will be very threatening in nature. So what do? You take production under Nrsimhadev, and nothing will happen to you.
Sir, about more than 5,000 years past, do we have any plan to bring global village, today become global village, the whole world? Do we have any solution, at least for solve the problem of economy? I travel in India, it's very bad condition, and the people know the problem. We know every problem, you name it, politically, race problem, economic problem, but do you have any solution for this problem?
I don't have, but Prabhupada have. And his solution was chanting the name of the Lord. So that will convert our heart, that will melt down our barriers, that will make us more mellow, more considerate of other human beings, our creation, and that will bring a global village in our midst. In fact, by spreading this mission, we are creating that sense of a global community.
No, if you go to any religion, go to the Catholic, the sister and brothers, they all the time they are praying. Go to the mosque, they are praying. Some of the Orthodox Muslims we have, but they are destroying the name of Islam.
Yeah.
But everybody is praying. Why we are not coming up with the solution of the world? Especially in India, we have caste system. Here we have racism problem.
Yeah, so the problem is because we have forgotten the eternal religion. If we are a Christian, then we think unless you become a Christian, you will not get salvation. If you are a Muslim, then you believe that unless you become a Muslim, you will not get salvation. And to many, even to some Hindus, Hinduism, by the way, never had that issue. Never. Even now, we don't believe. We were the only people who gave shelters to Jews, Christians, Muslims, from all over the world. In fact, when the Israeli parliament first met, the first resolution they passed was, let's take India, where our Jews took shelter and they were never persecuted there. So this is because we have forgotten what our eternal or real nature is. We think we are human beings. We think I'm black and white. We think I'm Kshatriya or a Brahman or whatever we think of ourselves. And because of that, our real nature, our real identity is forgotten. But once we realize through chanting, once we realize through reading that our real nature is not even this body. This body-mind complex is what we have gotten, but that's not our real nature. Our real nature is the Atman, the soul, which is servant of the Lord. Once we realize that real nature, then these problems will disappear. Then we will not be fighting with each other. We will not be killing one another.
I was thinking that religion should be the cause of or fate to serve humanity. I travel in India, still they are having caste system. We have this group who need to solve this problem. I think we need more power, more stronger, divine power to come on solution. That's why Krishna said, I will come time to time. I mean, is this ordinary laws and man-made laws or advising is good? But the time is passing quick. This life is so short. And people, the other side is dying for little bit food.
Okay, I think this is a long topic. Let me just wrap it up by talking a little bit about caste system that you pointed out. The caste system is actually in the Vedas. That will surprise you. So in one of the very famous sukta is a group of shlokas in Veda. There is a description of how the creation came into being, how the Param Braham created the universe. And then they talk about when the Param Braham was creating, what was his mouth like, what was his arms like, what was his thighs like, what was his feet like. And in that, the first time they talk about the 4 different varnas. This all the word that you're using is actually given by English. But any society will have to have different types with different mentality into it. Not everyone can be a professor. Not everyone can be an administrator. Not everyone can be a businessman. Not everyone can be a working class. All of them are required to maintain a society, a system of humanity. So that's what Vedas are describing. Now, so Brahmins, we have Brahmins here too. I mean, in any system of the humanity you see, there will be these 4 divisions of labor, of propensities, of training. What has happened over time because for 800 years, we were ruled by foreigners, Muslims and then Christians. And they degraded all of our systems. In fact, many of the books of the Vedas, they destroyed. Many other books, they destroyed. So that has become degraded, and now it has sort of become like if you are born in a Brahmin family, you become a Brahmin, which is not in the Vedas. It all depends on what your propensities are, what your nature is, what your inclinations are, what your training is. So anybody can become a Brahmin. I have taken, in ISKCON we get Brahman Diksha, and that only if you have those propensities. Likewise, you can be a Kshatriya, you can be an administrator, and you can be a working class, you can be a businessman. It all depends on your inclinations, your training, your propensities, and there is nothing wrong in them, because this is how humanity is, how human being is. If you see a child growing up, and you will see the propensities the child will have. Different propensities, same children, even twins born in the same family, they will have, the studies have been done looking at their propensities. The propensities are very different. So there is nothing wrong in having a Varna and ashram system. That is fundamental actually to any society. It gets corrupted because we start thinking if you're born in a Brahman family, you are Brahman. No, you may be eating meat, or you may not even know how to this basic rituals, how to do puja, how to chant, and you may never have read the scriptures. So that is a degradation. But otherwise, the systems that Vedas have described, they will hold forever. Anything else? Otherwise, I wrap it up. And thank you. Hari Bol. so much. Thank you. You become so weak from last year. Huh? Shall I come to your place? Shall I come to your place upstairs? Huh? Okay. Are you not the one who is doing the recording? Okay, then I'm okay, okay. Oh, okay, very good. No, I don't. Sure. You did nice kirtan today.
Dalita hirannaka vipulitano bhrinnam Sava karakamalabari lakhamadbhuta sinam Dalita hirannaka vipulitano bhrinnam Kechavadhrita narahari